Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the heart of America. I am Dale Tanhart, and welcome to Dalescenter, the greatest NASCAR betting program in the history of the universe, live on Kick. Replay will be on Kick, replay on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, watching whenever. I don't know, if you're watching Friday, Saturday, doesn't fucking matter. If you're watching live, appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube after the fact, on Dale Tanhart, at Dale Tanhart on YouTube, appreciate you as well. Lines at the bottom of the screen for the Food City 500, courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. That doesn't mean they're the best lines. They're just the easiest lines to import, as I always say when we get here on Dalescenter. So welcome to the program. Guys, you're about to learn how versatile I am, right? Like, we know what we're capable of with the iRacing, right? We're very capable of being world-class, expert, high-level, accountability, professionalism, maturity, just pure skill overall across the board. That's what we do in the sim world and iRacing. And in 2024, that's all we have done. That is all we have exemplified in the NASCAR betting world as well. It's been a crazy good hot streak the past few weeks, and we have profited on every single Cup race this year. That's the Clash, the Daytona 500, Atlanta, Vegas, and Phoenix. 5 events. We're 5 for 5 on securing a profit in the NASCAR Cup Series. Last week we had a clean sweep at Phoenix. I think we had a sweep at Vegas as well. It's been really hot for us here recently to start off the 2024 season, and I hope we can continue that into the Bristol weekend. Return to the concrete. I know a lot of you guys in the chat we're talking about college basketball. Saw somebody say they hit 10 unders in a row. Holy shit, dude. Congrats. Look, I'd love to bet on college basketball and lose all my money. It's actually really fun around March. But I think I have more fun betting on NASCAR and doubling and tripling my winnings at least. To me, that's more fun, even though college basketball March Madness is sick. Shout out to my alma mater in Mississippi State, beating Tennessee in a blowout win, really. That was pretty sick. I'm from the SIP. We root for Mississippi all the time. Greatest state in America, undisputed. That is why it is called the heart of America. Please don't take anything I say seriously, by the way. Let's get into it, guys. As I said, bottom of your screen, Cup odds for the Food City 500. I'm not putting truck odds up because I'll tell you right now, Kyle Busch is going to win this race. Plus 175 on Bet Rivers is the best place to find Kyle Busch. It's a bet that I will place before qualifying. I'm going to put as much as I can before I am limited. If I have to use 2 different books, maybe settle on a plus 150. With the plus 175, I'll do it. Guys, Kyle Busch is a Bristol master. This is a race that is going to go by quick with the stages, with the amount of cautions. Fuel's not going to be a concern. There's probably not going to be a green flag pit stop. The only way you really beat Kyle Busch in the Truck Series, if he beats himself. Vegas when Rajah Caruth won. What happened in the final green flag pit stop? The only green flag pit stop, I believe, as well. Kyle Busch sped on pit road or had a pit road penalty. That's the only way Kyle Busch loses, is if he has an issue on pit road, if he goes out of his way to fuck up. That's it. That's the only way he loses. Plus 175. It's not something I do very often, but you're putting Kyle Busch in a truck at his playground. What does he have? 8 Cup wins? I don't even know how many Xfinity truck wins he has here, but he's got 8 or 9 Cup wins at Bristol. He's dominated everything there is to dominate in Xfinity and trucks. He's in the truck again in a fast Spire number 7 truck. He's going to qualify up in the top 5, qualify in the top 10. He might get the pole, but even if he doesn't, I would still bet on him. Anything from plus 125 to plus 150, plus 175, got to do it. Kyle Busch is going to come out here and he's going to win this race. Now, am I saying I'm not going to bet on other guys outright? No, I'm not saying that. Someone like Nick Sanchez kind of sticks out to me, like 20-1. If strategy becomes an option late in this race, Nick Sanchez already has a win in the bucket. He might do something different. They're going to be aggressive on strategy because they know they're going to be in the playoffs, right? Rajah Caruth, similar situation. Also the same equipment as Kyle Busch, defending Truck Series winner, dating back 2 weeks ago at Las Vegas. 16-1, 18-1 range right there with Nick Sanchez. These guys can be aggressive, and they have the ability to do what they want, knowing they're locked into the playoffs. Like points, they're not in a big points crunch. So someone like Nick Sanchez, who came here in his first start as a rookie and finished 9th, with a very good truck, sticks out to me. Maybe you explore top 3, explore top 5, trending around 5-1 for a top 3. I think it's a little too expensive. Let's wait on qualifying to get a lot of our other props in. on some of these young guys, some of these fast cats that are in the Truck Series. But in my mind, Kyle Busch to win is a 2.5 unit play this week. Take it on Bet Rivers. If you guys know of a line that is better than plus 175, tell us in the chat. I don't know that there is. As much as I've looked, I don't use Bovada anymore. I've dabbled in Bet365, some of these other books. I haven't seen anything better than plus 175. I don't think you're going to get 2-1 at any point this weekend, which is why you should bet it now. Also, it's like everybody's so excited that Bristol is off of dirt, returning to the concrete. Like, what do I always say about professional sports? And yes, the CRAFTSMAN Truck Series is a professional sport. And if you disagree, go fuck yourself. What do I always say about professional sports? America never gets what they want. We're all pumped up. We're all excited to see this youthful Truck Series back on the concrete in the spring on Saturday night in Bristol. And guess what's going to happen? Kyle Busch is going to come out here and ruin our lives. That's what's going to happen. Kyle Busch is going to win this race. Lock it in. I think it's a 2.5 unit play. As much as you can put is what I would do. Now, look, bet responsibly. I'm not saying put the 401k on it, but I'm putting something close to that, potentially, on Kyle Busch to win the truck race. Not the cup race, the truck race. The Weather Guard 150, is that what it's called? The Weather Guard truck race at Bristol. Great name, by the way. So that's where I'm starting right there. Kyle Busch is going to win. Moving on, I have a lock of the universe play right here. Look, I might put it in the Discord. I'll have to put it on my betting card eventually, but lock of the universe. We're 3-1 on lock of the universe bets in 2024, which is basically a 401k bet. Like, pull the 401k out, pull the funds that you would allocate towards a Five Guys meal with the drink, and you take that, all that money, thousands of dollars that you saved from not going to Five Guys, and you put that on this bet that I'm about to tell you right now. And that is Christian Eckes for a top 5 even money. That's on Caesar Sportsbook. That's on Bet365. To me, that's a bigger play than what we're going to put on Kyle Busch. No question about it. Christian Eckes had an amazing truck here last fall. McAnally Hilgeman just continues to get better and better and better. And Eckes hasn't had the hottest start to the year, which is crazy because he's had good trucks. He's had a lot of bad luck, and he hasn't had a top 5 yet. That's going to change this weekend. Christian Eckes to get a top 5, even money. I'm looking at DraftKings right now, minus 150. Don't bet it on DraftKings. Bet it on Bet Rivers. Bet it on Bet365. And maybe there's another book out there that has a top 5 option for trucks, because if you scan the books, not every book, and honestly, most of the books, don't have top 5s for trucks, at least before qualifying. I don't know why that is. It's pretty frustrating, actually. But Bet Rivers has a top 5 option, even money. Take that. Or Bet365 has a top 5 option. Take that as well, even money. Christian Eckes top 5 is the lock of the universe. Remember, he coulda, shoulda, woulda won this race last fall and then gave it up to Corey Heim in the closing laps when Corey Heim chased him down when Eckes was kind of stuck in traffic. It was a very good classic Bristol race, right? Like, it wasn't Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, bump and run, late race, craziness, shenanigans, intimidation factor. But late race situations, especially in the Truck Series, they run classic Bristol, right? There's just not enough time. There's not enough rubber to run the top lane like we're going to see the Cup cars do. Excuse me. There's just not enough time to run the top lane and get that groove ready where it's raceable and where it's the preferred line. Like Saturday night, you're going to see all the trucks are going to rope the bottom just like a classic Bristol race, which can make it interesting at the end like we saw last fall, because of lap traffic getting in the way. And these trucks are pretty aero sensitive. Not as bad as a Cup car, but they are pretty aero sensitive, and it can impact the end of the race like it did fall of 2023. So Christian Eckes, I think, is going to have a great truck. I think he's going to be a candidate to go head-to-head against Kyle Busch. Maybe beat Kyle Busch. Like I said, those McAnally trucks are special. But let's just focus on the top 5, taking it even money. I would bet it, worst case scenario, minus 110, maybe minus 120. I don't think I'd go any further than that. Even money is awesome. Plus money, take it. Christian Eckes, lock of the universe, will get a top 5 on Saturday night. Other than that, as you see over here, I got a new segment, which is not a new segment. It's new in 2024. I hadn't done it yet. But a staple of Dalescenter over the past couple years has been the Tanhart Triple Crown Parlay. And there will be some more truck bets included in this parlay right here at the end of the program. Tan Hart Triple Crown Parlay, 3 legs into a parlay. Let's see if we cash it. If we don't, then we don't. If we do, then hell yeah. Let's move on. Cup qualifying bets. Now, this has been my kryptonite, especially at the beginning of 2023. We kind of got hot, right? We kind of got hot at the end of 2023. Some of you guys may not know that, but we did get hot as fuck in qualifying towards the end of last year. And it really helped us come back from what was an abysmal betting season, especially in the first half. But to start 2024, we've been back and forth. You know, we hit Logano pole at Daytona. And then I talked about betting McDowell at Atlanta. Didn't actually bet it. I just told you guys, hey, it may not be a bad idea. He gets the pole. That counts as a loss to me in my heart because it's like, well, I had the right idea. I didn't put my money on it. That sucks. Then we come back and we did bet at Las Vegas and we lost. Or no, did we bet at Vegas or did we bet at Phoenix? We skipped Vegas and we bet at Phoenix and we lost. So there you go. So technically, we're only 1-1 when it comes to profiting loss on a qualifying card. But we're back this week. I'm a guarantee that I will be betting on qualifying, and I got 6 guys. Now, another position. I preach all the time. Scan the sports books. We've already talked about it here. Just in this short, how long have I been going? 15 minutes. Scan the sports books. Get all your options because right now, I'm going to pull up my phone here, and I'm going to go on Bet Rivers. Great example. Ryan Preece, 66-1 on Bet Rivers to win the pole in Cup Series qualifying for the Food City 500. And he's 200-1 on Bet 365. Scan your sports books. Noah Gragson, 66-1 on Bet Rivers to win the pole. 80-1 to win the pole on Bet 365. I'm pulling up Caesars right now. Let's see how they stack up there. Pulling up Caesars. NASCAR, Food City 500. Go to futures, and then you're going to go to fastest qualifier. And I'm talking about the SHR cars for a reason, right? It seems like they have, on these short tracks, they just qualify better. They just qualify well. Whether it's a short track package or not, we've seen Eric Almirola get the pole here in the Gen 7 era. We've seen other SHR cars qualify in the top 10, top 5. I think Chase Briscoe was on the outside pole when Eric Almirola won the pole here. And that goes with all the other short tracks. Well, maybe not all of them, but Martinsville, they qualified really well. Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson qualified decently last week at Phoenix, and they have before in the past with that program. We talk about it all the time. Stuart Haas is dog water on mile and a halves. They can't figure it out unless Noah Gragson just figured it out in that 10 car at Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. Like, holy shit, he was fast. That's a big deal because Gragson already has proven that he's fast on a mile and a half and he's fast on a short track package. That's huge. And I don't know that anybody other than Kevin Harvick with this program has done that since the beginning of 2022. So that could speak volumes going forward. But right now, we're just talking about qualifying. Caesars Sportsbook, Ryan Preece, 200-1 to win the pole. Noah Gragson to win the pole. On Caesars, 40-1. And what did I say was on Bet 365? 80-1. Bet Rivers, 66-1. There are discrepancies with guys that I think are going to qualify in the top 10, top 15. For me, that's worth it. Ryan Preece, remember what he did at Martinsville? I'm not saying Bristol's anything like Martinsville. It's not. But with the shorter tracks, SHR has something that they don't have on the mile and a halves on the intermediates. They just don't. So I think it could be a worthy bet to stack some SHR guys in qualifying. And that's where I'm going to start. 3 guys I'm going to bet from the SHR fleet. I'm betting on everybody except Josh Berry. Chase Briscoe, 16-1. Noah Gragson, 80-1. And Ryan Preece, 200-1 to win the pole. These are small bets, guys. Small bets. Chase Briscoe might go half a unit. We'll see. I'm still thinking about the unit allocation. Make sure you're in the Dalescenter NASCAR Discord to get that specific unit allocation so you know how much I'm putting on each bet. But Briscoe, I think, could be worth half a unit at 16-1, 14-1. As I'm talking about scanning the books, you look on Caesars. Chase Briscoe is 10-1 to win the pole. Come back over to Bet Rivers. He's 16-1. These are big discrepancies, and they can matter. When we've seen these guys, someone like Chase Briscoe, qualify up front at Bristol on the concrete surface. It absolutely can matter We've seen Noah Gragson come out firing. He's in the 10 car that won the pole here, fall of 2022. This absolutely can make a difference on what book you bet on, especially when we're talking about Gragson, who's 40-1 on one book and then 80-1 on another book. That's crazy. That's double the money if he wins. So I'm on all the SHR guys to win the pole except for Josh Berry. Just inexperience with the Cup car. I think it's going to take time for Josh. I think it's just going to take some time for him to get acclimated with how different this car drives compared to the Xfinity car that he was in off and on for 2-3 years. So take an SHR, 3 guys outside of Josh Berry. And then you got to have Toyota. You got to have Toyota when it comes to qualifying, especially with how good they were at Phoenix last week. Got to have some Toyota in here when it comes to qualifying. And I know Denny Hamlin's juiced all across the board. He's a favorite to win. DraftKings has him plus 475. He's a favorite to win the pole, 4-1, 3-1 range. Not going to take Denny again. I'm going to take Tyler Reddick, 12-1, and I'm going to take Ty Gibbs, 14-1 on Bet Rivers or on Bet 365. I know that's confusing. They both start with Bet, so it's easy to fuck up. But Bet 365 is the place that has Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs to win the pole at the better price. I'm pulling up Bet 365 right now. To win pole position, Ty Gibbs 14-1, Tyler Reddick 14-1. When you look at Bet Rivers, Tyler Reddick is 12-1, Ty Gibbs 11-1. Let's go look at Caesars. Ty Gibbs is 10-1, Tyler Reddick is 12-1. These are discrepancies that matter. Not as big of a deal when you consider the long shot guys like a Gragson or a Priest, but still it matters, right? If you have access to these books, shop all of them. And in this case, I'm taking Ty Gibbs, and I'm taking Tyler Reddick. Ty Gibbs, man, is just knocking on the door of everything. He's knocking on the door of winning a pole. He's knocking on the door of winning a race. This is the place where I think Ty Gibbs has the best shot of his entire career thus far to win. He was great here in the fall last year. All of Toyota was, really. But Ty Gibbs led a lot of laps, ran top 5, got that experience, and this year he's come out firing with top 3s, running up front, leading laps. What he did at Phoenix last week was huge with another top 3 run. Ty Gibbs is poised to get a win. It's the breakout guy that we're all expecting, and I think it's going to come sooner rather than later. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out. Ty Gibbs to win the pole and to win the race. 15-1 is what I got on the outright bet to win. I took that on Tuesday, and you could have seen that if you follow me on the Action Network app. That link is below on Kick and on YouTube. To download the Action Network app, it's amazing with tracking your bets. Follow all the experts. Ty Gibbs was the first bet I logged this week when the odds dropped at 15-1 to win. I would bet down to 12-1. I'm super confident in Ty Gibbs. Only concern, seems like everybody's betting on him. Seems like everybody's talking about Ty Gibbs, and I get it. And based off everything we just said, he's run well here before. He's knocking on the door. He's got a lot of speed in that number 54 Toyota. So Ty Gibbs, I love on all fronts this weekend. But to win the pole is where we're going to start knocking on the door. When guys knock on the door, they break that motherfucker down eventually. You go listen to all the dorks give all their fucking stats and algorithms and shit, or you can just hear me say, when a motherfucker knocks on the door, eventually they break it open and they win. That's what Ty Gibbs is getting ready to do. Be ready. Bet on him this weekend. One more guy for qualifying. William Byron. I'm going to take William Byron, 11-1, Bet Rivers. I just feel like with how good he was at qualifying last year, he was probably the most consistent qualifier in 2023. If not the best, he was up in the top 3, up in the top 5. Bristol hasn't been his best track, even though he has reeled off a couple top 5 runs over the past year and a half, couple years. I keep thinking about Dirt. Dirt's been here for 3 years now, which is crazy. Now it's gone. But William Byron has been an excellent qualifier. While the Toyotas are juiced, like Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, kind of juiced. Christopher Bell, extremely juiced. Look at William Byron, who has been an excellent qualifier in the Gen 7 era, 11-1. If he gets into the top 10, if he makes a Fast 5, I'm happy with that bet. No question about it. While all the books are salivating over the Toyota fleet to win the pole and actually win the race too. So 6 guys for qualifying. William Byron, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece. Smaller bets, I'm thinking I haven't figured out how to allocate everything just yet, but I wouldn't go more than 2.5 units combined on all 6 of these drivers. Because qualifying can be crazy, it can kind of be tumultuous, and it can be very non-trendy as well with just unpredictability factors in the Gen 7 era. So don't go crazy on qualifying. You're not going to see me with more than 2.5 units spread across these 6 drivers. One more time, that's William Byron, Benjamin Bill, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, and Ryan Preece to win the pole for the Food City 500. Qualifying is Saturday afternoon, so get those bets in before it's too late. Now, when I say leans, this is advice, right? This is like the Michael McDowell, hey, I said it in Atlanta. It wouldn't be a bad idea to bet on Michael McDowell to win the pole. 18-1, I think is what it was. Some people got it like 40-1 before we even got to when I recorded Dalescenter that week. But when I say leans, I'm not guaranteeing that I'm betting on it, okay? I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to be betting on this. But I use it as a sense of advice. Just pure advice. And honestly, I think there's a lot in play on manufacturer bets this weekend. I've already looked at what Greg Mathern put out early in the week, and I'm kind of on board with what he did getting a Chase Elliott top Chevy ticket. Look, Greg Mathern, I feel like I end up bringing him up all the time. He's the NASCAR betting titan. Motherfucker knows what he's doing. I love what he got on Chase Elliott. I think he got 9-1, 9.5-1 top Chevy. That's an awesome bet. Chase Elliott has a great Bristol resume. He's competed for wins here 2021. Finished second fall of 2022, won the All-Star race in 2020 with a fucked up number that was slid backwards. Chase Elliott has been in the running at Bristol a lot throughout his career to run top 5 and compete for wins. He's even got the best average finish at Bristol amongst all active drivers in the Cup Series in like the last 15 races. So Chase Elliott's good here. I think he's kind of a wild card because does he have the speed? What's up with Alan Gustafson? Is he on the hot seat as a crew chief? We know Elliott's not on the hot seat as a driver. He's signed a long-term deal with Rick Hendrick. And he was excellent in 2022, got hurt, had a bad year. I think the injury 1,000% is to blame for the lack of performance. Chase Elliott is going to be fine. He's going to win a race this year, and it might be this weekend. So keep an eye on Chase Elliott. And when we talk about manufacturers, once again, scan the books, because I wrote all these down that I'm thinking about with Top Chevy and Top Ford. We're going to start with Top Chevy. You can get Kyle Busch 7.5-1 Top Chevy. Another wild card, right? We don't know what his car is going to be like. As I talked about earlier, he's the Bristol master of the modern era in NASCAR. And RCR has not been good on this type of racetrack. So it is kind of a wild card. But to me, the books are obsessed with Kyle Larson. And yes, he won Bristol here in 2021. He's run top 3, 2 of the last 3, top 5 in 3 straight. Kyle Larson is awesome at Bristol. There's no question about it. But what we know about Kyle Larson is he makes mistakes. He makes mistakes, whether it's speeding on pit road or just actually more often it's on-track incidents, right? He gets involved in shit that he shouldn't get involved in. He leads a lot of laps, he leads races, and he gives up wins at the end. Even though he is a solidified stud and one of the best race car drivers on planet Earth, he does make mistakes. And Kyle Larson on most books is like even money plus 150 top Chevy. At a track like Bristol, I just can't buy that. I just can't buy that. If anything happens to Kyle Larson and you bet on these 4 guys that I'm about to tell you, you could be in the catbird seat for an easy profit. Now, look, when I say easy profit, nothing's fucking easy. But my point here is you can stack these guys, and I feel like you have a pretty good shot at winning a top Chevy bet if something happens to Kyle Larson. I'm not putting William Byron in this either. He's like the second favorite, 3-1, 3.5-1 on most books for top Chevy. Not going to put him in either because Bristol has not been one of his best tracks. He's been okay, been pretty good, but there's a lot of guys that I think could have a better run than William Byron this weekend on Sunday afternoon. So 4 guys: Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, and Alex Bowman. That's a sneaky one, right? No one's talking about Alex Bowman. Bristol's not one of his best tracks either. But look, he's a Hendrick car, or a guy in a Hendrick car. He's had good runs here before. He hasn't won in a while. Another guy that suffered from injuries since the end of 2022. 18 to 1, I think is worth a shot. That's on DraftKings Sportsbook right here under race props. Top Chevy, Alex Bowman, 18 to 1. Ross Chastain, also on DraftKings Sportsbook, 8.5 to 1. Now, he's been kind of, on this track style, and Bristol in particular, has not been his best. Trackhouse has not been amazing here. But we've seen Ross Chastain win at a variety of different racetracks. He's proven to be a versatile winner, right? He's won at COTA, a road course. He's won at Talladega, a super speedway. He's won at Phoenix, a short, flat, piece of shit racetrack. And then he's won at Dover, which is a concrete, or not Dover, I'm sorry, Nashville, which is a concrete racetrack that is also unique in its own. Excuse me. So Ross Chastain, 8.5 to 1 Top Chevy, I think is a good bet on DraftKings Sportsbook. Then you head over to Caesars, because on DraftKings, as I say, scan the fucking book. Scan the sports books. Kyle Busch is 4.5 to 1 Top Chevy. There is no way in hell I'm taking that. No way in hell. 4.5 to 1 Top Chevy for a guy that might come out here and lay a fucking egg because his car sucks. Let's just be honest. Like I said, RCR has not been great at this track type since the beginning of the Gen 7 era. So Kyle Busch, 4.5 to 1 is awful. But what I will do is I'll go to Caesar Sportsbook and I will gladly take Kyle Busch at plus 750. 7.5 to 1 versus 4.5 to 1. That is a huge discrepancy, guys. Huge. That's, once again, almost double your money if he cashes. There's a chance Kyle Busch can come out here and just light it up this week. And there's a chance he comes out here, he's got the best car, he qualifies in the top 5. We see what we saw at Las Vegas when he was up there with Kyle Larson, up there with Tyler Reddick, one of the best cars in the field. And keep in mind, one thing you can say that breeds a little bit of positive light here is it's not the short track package, where RCR has just been god-awful. It's not the short track package, it's the intermediate package. Remember, Kyle Busch did win at a track that resembles short track characteristics in 2023 with a dominating win at Worldwide Technology Raceway. That was also with the intermediate package that we're going to see at Bristol on Sunday afternoon. I'm connecting some dots that may not mean shit. But what you can say is you got to feel a little bit better on a bet like this. It's 7.5 to 1 on Caesar Sportsbook because it's not the short track package where they've been so fucking terrible at. I definitely feel better about that concept and the fact that Kyle Busch historically has been amazing at Bristol throughout his career. So I would be willing to bet that for sure. Don't take 4.5 to 1 on DraftKings. That is a sham. Take 7.5 to 1 on Caesar's Sportsbook. So we have Bowman, 18 to 1. Not a lot of actual, there's not a lot of materialist or just data, right? There's not a lot of data that justifies picking Alex Bowman for anything. But it's a Hendrick Chevy. Bristol can be crazy. If he runs top 15, top 10 in a Hendrick car, he's in the running to be the top Chevy. And I think that is more than absolutely likely to happen. So Alex Bowman, 18 to 1. Ross Chastain, 8.5 to 1. Kyle Busch, 7.5 to 1. And then we're going to go to Bet365. And we're going to go to Top Chevy. And Chase Elliott is still sitting there at 8 to 1 versus 6 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook and 5 to 1 on Caesars. This is why you scan the books. This is why you scan everything you can. Now, I get it. Some people may not have access to all these books. That's a personal problem, okay? Don't come with me to your problems, okay? I'm not here for you to vent to me about what books you can and can't use. I'm just trying to help you as best as I can. Cross the border into another state and bet, because that's what I have to do. So, Chase Elliott, 8 to 1 on Bet365. Kyle Busch, 7.5 to 1 on Caesars. Ross Chastain, 8.5 to 1 on DraftKings. And Alex Bowman, 18 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. To me, those four guys bet on all four of them. And I think there's a good chance one of them could be top Chevy this weekend. And in my mind, I mean, when I see this, in my mind, all I think is you need something to happen to Kyle Larson, which historically is not an uncommon thing when it comes to where Kyle Larson, or just how he could have the best car and somehow find a way to crash. He's had engine problems before, like Darlington in the Gen 7 era. He's had penalties. It can happen. It can absolutely happen. So, love those four guys for Top Chevy. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Chastain, Alex Bowman. Now we're going to go to top Ford. Now look, I'm telling you, I'm leaning to betting on Brad Keselowski outright. He's been so good at Bristol. He's knocking on, in 2023 or 2024, he hasn't really been knocking on the door. It's kind of been a shitty start, but they had really good speed last week at Phoenix, him and his teammate Chris Buescher, both in the top 5, both great long-run speed. Brad Keselowski has been awesome at Bristol throughout his career, especially before we moved to dirt. In the spring race, he won 2020. Should have won fall of 2022, but that was a famous tire debacle where everybody, including him, Christopher Bell, other guys were crashing from the lead with blown tires. It was crazy. Brad Keselowski was in a spot with like 20 to go to win that race, and guess what happened? He blew a tire, and then Chris Buescher ended up winning. So Brad K's been close at Bristol outside of when he was good here and won races in the Gen 6 era. So Brad Keselowski with the improving RFK program is, to me, a guy I'm leaning towards. My issue is I feel like everybody's betting on him. 14-1, 15-1. Maybe I'm crazy. I feel like it's a little too expensive. I think I'm willing to wait on qualifying, right? So you look at that. He's 15-1, 14-1 range outright. And top Ford, he's like 3-1. I mean, talk about a guy who makes mistakes. Brad Keselowski. I mean, my God. The amount of speeding penalties, the amount of wrecks he's been in since 2022. There is no chance in hell I'm betting 3-1 top Ford for Brad Keselowski. But because of that, and because of the Penske bias, which Ryan Blaney has not been great here over the past few years, he's a favorite to be the top Ford on some books. Chris Buescher's probably right up there, 3-1. DraftKings has Chris Buescher plus 285. I think there's some recency bias there with last week and because he won here in 2022. And also, I think he ran top 5 here in fall of 2023. So Chris Buescher's up there. Blaney's up there. Brad K's up there. And Logano's up there, who's also good at Bristol. But I think with where we're at in 2024, especially with the start that Logano's had, Blaney hasn't been great at Bristol. Brad K's made mistakes. Chris Buescher's had issues before. And I know that sounds broad, but Chris is not the most consistent guy ever, right? Breakout year in 2023, but I'm not paying 2.5-1 on Chris Buescher top Ford. That's just crazy. That's crazy. So my point here is I think it gives us an opportunity on some other guys. Hint, remember what I preached in the qualifying bets. SHR. Now, Kevin Harvick came here in the playoffs last year, and Roddy Childers gave him the biggest piece of shit 1999 Dodge Durango type of race car he's ever had at Bristol. Other than that, Kevin Harvick has been amazing at Bristol. SHR has been decent at Bristol, decent at the short tracks. As I said in qualifying, they've been great here before. And in race trim, we've already seen Noah Gragson prove he's fast on an intermediate and he's fast on a short track. He's also got his old classic paint scheme that he had in the Xfinity Series on the car, which I think is awesome. Maybe it gives us a little bit of energy, but top Ford, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, you can get both of them at 18-1. Gragson is 18-1 over on DraftKings, and Briscoe is 18-1 on Caesars, I believe. I'm pulling it up right now to verify. Top Ford. Just kidding. Chase Briscoe is 10-1 top Ford on Caesars. Bet365 is where Chase Briscoe is 18-1. Yep. So on Bet365, you could do it all there. You could get Briscoe and Gragson 18-1, both to be the top Ford. Gragson's already had a hot start. Chase Briscoe's coming off a good run as well last week at Phoenix. Watch out for these guys. SHR could come out here and have really good speed again with a couple of their guys like a Gragson, like a Briscoe, maybe a Ryan Preece. Fuck, who knows? Josh Berry could come out here and shock everybody like he did in the Xfinity Series in 2020 or 2021, whatever year that was where he came out and won at Martinsville in a junior car. Josh Berry's a short track stud. SHR is a good short track program. This isn't the short track package, but it is a short track where they've had success in the Gen 7 era. So give me Noah Gragson top Ford and give me Chase Briscoe top Ford, both 18-1. And then I'm going to take Michael McDowell, 16-1 top Ford. That line's available on DraftKings Sportsbook. Michael McDowell has been very, very sneaky at Bristol. He's been sneaky in general over the past year and a half, and he came out and finally won a race other than his Daytona 500 somewhat fluky type of win. But Michael McDowell has really, really impressed with their new Tier 1 Ford program. They've got an alliance with Team Penske. That car's got speed, and that driver's got speed. He's coming off a top 10 at Phoenix last week as well. Watch out for Michael McDowell. I think a 16-1 sprinkle for Top Ford could be worth it for him as well at a track where he has had some success. In the last 3 races, he's got 2 top 10s and 1 top 5. I mean, that's pretty good. Or, I'm sorry. 1 top 10, 2 top 20s. That's not as good as I thought it was. But, hold on. This might include dirt. Is that right? No. Okay, last 2 finishes, 11th and 6th at Bristol Concrete. Let me make sure that doesn't include dirt. It does not. That does not include dirt. We're talking Bristol Concrete, last 2 runs for Michael McDowell, P11 and P6. And now his team is better. They have faster cars. They have better resources. Watch out for Michael McDowell this weekend. 16-1 Top Ford could be worth it. So keep an eye on that. To sum up, these are manufacturer leans. Right up there, leans. I have not determined that I will for sure bet on these, but I think they could be some fun, worthy bets on manufacturers that are really good price, considering how much these other guys like Penske and Hendrick are juiced on the Chevy and the Ford prop. So to sum up on the Ford prop, Briscoe, Gregson, McDowell. To sum up on the Chevy prop, Elliott, Bowman, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain. That could be your entire betting card, right? That could be your entire betting card. And depending on how you allocate your units, if one of those guys between top Chevy and top Ford is the top of their manufacturer, you don't even need both to have a profit at those odds. You're getting 8-1 or better, or 7.5-1 or better on everything. So to me, those are worthy manufacturer leans that could be worth a fun sweat on Sunday afternoon with a decent probability of cashing. So moving on, Cup Series bets. I've already basically talked about one. This is going to be pretty quick. To get my full Cup card, which we waited last week. I told you guys on Dalescenter, we had a couple bets. We got lucky as shit that one of them cashed with Kyle Busch over Joey Logano. Crazy that cashed, but Logano had a piece of junk. Kyle Busch had a piece of junk, and luckily they both ended up wrecking, and Logano's wreck was terminal. Kyle Busch's wasn't. We win. So we hit that, and I think we had another bet. Chris Buescher is who we talked about last week, all week long for a top 10. That was cash fucking money if you tuned into Dalescenter. It was my favorite bet of the week on the Cup side, and it paid off. And I think you got to do kind of the same, right? Now, Denny Hamlin's awesome at Bristol. It seems like no matter where he qualifies. Kyle Larson's awesome at Bristol. Seems like no matter what, no matter where he qualifies. Christopher Bell is entering that category as well with the amount of laps he's led here over the past couple years. But I think we need to wait for qualifying for most of what you do. And I'm not going to preach that every single week, right? We're not going to preach that every fucking week. But most of the time, yeah, let's wait and see who unloads with speed, right? Outside of that, I've got 2 bets that I have placed for the Food City 500. That's Ty Gibbs, 15-1, as I talked about, knocking on the door. And then Eric Jones, 50-1. I would bet down to 40-1. These guys had legit speed at Phoenix. As I talked about at the beginning of the year, if you watch all my other streams on the iRacing stuff, anything I've talked about on SiriusXM, or my Dalescenter preseason video that's on YouTube that fucking nobody watched, and that's fine. I love Eric Jones this year. I think the addition of Toyota with Legacy Motor Club as a manufacturer is going to make them a big-time quality program. They've got big-time sponsors that have joined the party that are filling up all the primaries the entire season, which is great for a petty-owned team, which is now, Jimmy Johnson, whatever. The point is, with Toyota involved, they're going to have speed. Now, John Hunter Nemechek's going to take some time because even though he has Cup experience back in 2020, I believe, with Front Row, this is a totally different race car. A totally different race car in 2024 with the Gen 7. So Nemechek's going to be a work in progress, but Eric Jones is a veteran who has won big races. And he's a guy that's been very unlucky with how rides have turned out, getting the boot from Joe Gibbs Racing, even though he could have performed better. Doesn't matter now. We're fucking 5 years away from that. And now he's back in a fast Toyota. And last week at Phoenix was all I needed to know to realize that he does have speed. And he will have speed. He had a top 5, I think a borderline top 5 car at Phoenix. They had problems in pit road, and then he got wrecked by Chase Briscoe, which fucked up his entire day. But the point is, he was a fast Toyota. He was running up in the top 5, running up in the top 10 at a track where he typically has not run well at. He's qualified decently at Phoenix, but never really run well up in the top 10 and the top 5. He did that last week. 1,000% did that. And you're going to give me Eric Jones 50-1, 40-1 at a track where he has been really good at when he's been in a Toyota. 8 starts in a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, 4 top 5s. And I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was 2017 when he was in the second front row car and he gave up the win. I think it was to Kyle Busch in 2017 when he was in that 77 5-hour energy car. Led all sorts of laps, gave it away at the end. Eric Jones is great at Bristol. I love Eric Jones this weekend. I think if he qualifies up in the top 10, this line will not be 40-1 anymore. What did it close at Phoenix last week? He qualified in the top 10, in the top 5, and it closed at like 14-1, 16-1. I think the same thing could happen this weekend at Bristol. So Eric Jones has a good Bristol resume, and it's a track that he has just performed super well at when he's been in good equipment. Remember when he went to Richard Petty Motorsports, it was all about maximizing mediocre Chevy equipment. Now he's back in what I believe is a fast Toyota, and he's going to be a factor. 50-1 is what I got to win. I think that was on BetMGM. So 40-1 I would bet as well. I think there's a high chance that after qualifying, you're not going to see that line anymore because I think Eric Jones is going to impress all weekend long. So that's what I got on Cup Bets that I have actually logged. But we've given a lot out on this program, and I hope it can help you guys achieve a profit. As I've said, we have achieved a profit on my betting card every single Cup race this year, including the Clash. Now, that doesn't include the duels. I got cooked on the duels. One of my outrights finished second in both duel races. Those don't count, as those are just little small races. But Clash, Daytona 500, Atlanta, Vegas, Phoenix, we have achieved a profit in the NASCAR Cup Series. Let's keep the streak rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Be sure to check out my entire betting card on the Action Network app. That link is below on my profile. Green check mark, Action Network app. Click that, download the app, and that's where you can track and get all of my bets for the NASCAR Cup Series with specific unit allocations. And you can be pinged. You can set notifications. Whenever I place a bet, you get a notification on your piece of shit phone. And you're like, oh, what did Dale bet? There it is. I'm going to bet that too. Very, very easy. Very, very accessible. Download the Action Network app, and you're right there with us with all the experts. And you can track everything we're doing on the betting side of things in NASCAR. So keep an eye out for that after qualifying, after practice. Let's see where the lap averages stack up. Let's see who has track position. And then let's lock in, and we're going to make a full betting card. And I'll also make sure to ping the Discord. Join the Dalescenter NASCAR Discord, also in a link below, to make sure you don't miss any updates on anything Dale Tanhart related, whether it's betting, NASCAR, iRacing, doesn't matter. Join our community. When we hit 1,000 members, we're giving away another Dale Earnhardt all-over print vintage t-shirt. We already gave one away at 500 members. We are at 700 members right now. So be sure to join that, and you can be eligible to win that t-shirt when we hit 1K members in the new Discord. Now, fun segment. Let's talk about the Tanhart Triple Crown Parlay, ladies and gentlemen. First one this year. First one I have felt confident about. Now, none of these bets I'm going to bet outright. I'm only going to bet them in a parlay. And this is going to be courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm going to make it easy on you. I don't know what other books might have all these matchups and or allow you to parlay them. DraftKings is a great place to do parlays. Great place to parlay matchups. And that's what we're going to do here. We got 3 head-to-head matchups. Raja Caruth versus Lane Riggs, which this is something I might bet, actually. Lane Riggs, we know, is a great short track racer, right? But he hasn't proven anything yet. We know Raja Caruth has a fast race truck every week. Raja Caruth came here and had a top 10 in the fall. of 2023. He's got experience. Lane Riggs has not done anything yet. He has not proven anything yet. So to get Raja Caruth minus 120 versus Lane Riggs, I think could be a slam dunk. Could absolutely be a slam dunk. I like that bet. And that is going to be the first leg of the Tanhart Triple Crown. And then we're going to go with Ty Majeski over Zane Smith. Zane Smith continues to be popping in this truck series to get some, I guess, extra reps. He's in a McAnally truck. But for whatever reason, that truck has just not been great. It has not been as good as even Tyler Ankrum. Hadn't been as good as Tyler Ankrum. Hadn't been as good as Christian Eckes. I don't know. Ty Majeski's great at Bristol. Won here fall of 2022. He's a great short track racer. We know he shits the bed all the time. It seems like he has a pit road speeding penalty or something ridiculous happen that takes him out of races. But Ty Majeski's really good here. And he's in a fast truck. He's going to qualify up front. Zane Smith is in a part-time gig. Give me Ty Majeski minus 120 as a second leg of this parlay. Excuse me. So you got Raja Caruth over Lane Riggs, which is the one I'm the most confident in. Ty Majeski over Zane Smith. I really believe Ty is going to outrun Zane. And then the third leg, this is the one that people are going to disagree on, but I'm taking Chase Elliott over Chris Buescher. Look, Chris Buescher, last couple Bristol races has been great. No question about it. Fall of 2022, he kind of snuck into a win there because everybody kept blowing tires. But Chase Elliott, I think, has a more full body of work. As I said, he's got the best driver average finish at Bristol out of everybody in the Cup field. And this is a track that could bring back some confidence in that number 9 team with what they've done here over the years. This has arguably been, even though they haven't won, they've been close to winning, but they did win that All-Star race. This has arguably been one of their best oval tracks to come to since 2020. With how they've run leading laps, running in the top 5, competing for wins. Chase Elliott's plus money against Chris Buescher. I love that. Now, if this was minus 120, if Elliott was a favorite, I don't know if I'd put it in here. But I love Chase Elliott plus money against Chris Buescher to be the third leg of the Tanhart Triple Crown Parlay. On DraftKings, this would pay out 6-1. $100 would win $605. That's what I'm rolling with for the Tanhart Triple Crown. Hopefully we can cash a few of these throughout the year and generate some profit and some fun motherfucking parlays. One more time, Raja Caruth over Lane Riggs in trucks, Ty Majeski over Zane Smith in trucks, and Chase Elliott over Chris Buescher in the Cup race. That's 3 legs. That's a Triple Crown. That is the Tanhart Triple Crown Parlay for Bristol weekend coming up. And that's all I got. Anybody have any questions? If you're watching live, I'll take a few minutes here. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Otherwise, follow at Dale Tanhart. As I've said, all these beautiful plugs right here. Action Network right there. Twitter, Discord, Instagram, Dale Talk. And then on the bottom, the final big plug we'll put in here is GridRival. Get that off of there so you can see it. Yep, right down here. See that? Looks great. I know. GridRival is a phenomenally built NASCAR fantasy game. It's a new season-long NASCAR fantasy game that they have built, and we've got a league of over 700 members. It is free to join, $1,000 up for grabs at the end of the season. It's not too late to join, guys. We're what, 6 races in, 5 races in? It's not too late. It's never too late. Who said that? Was that 3 Days Grace? Yeah, I think that's right. Someone correct me if you're into that old rock shit from the 2000s. But anyway, GridRival, really fun game. We're having a good time. We're talking about it in the Discord. We're talking about it in the league chat. Very, very interactive and a very unique spin on NASCAR Fantasy. It's way fucking better than any NASCAR Fantasy game on the market. As you guys know, if you play NASCAR Fantasy, you know all the other NASCAR Fantasy games out there. They are garbage, brother. They are straight hot garbage. This game right here is not. Free to play, $1,000 up for grabs at the end of the season. Very, very fun. Be sure to join. That link is below, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Kick. Fantasy for the racing obsessed. That is GridRival. And if you want to play Formula One, they have Formula One as well. They've got the Pick'em games. They've got a lot of stuff on that app that you can download right here watching Dalescenter. So, how many units are you dropping on Eric Jones? I think I put a third of a unit on Eric Jones. Hold on. Let me pull up my betting slip on MGM. BetMGM is where I grabbed the Eric Jones ticket at 50-1. And that's also where I grabbed the Ty Gibbs ticket, as I see right here. Yep. I put 0.3 units. In my case, that's $15. It's a $15 bet at 50-1. If you get 40-1, 35-1, maybe put $20. I don't know. Maybe you can up your unit just a hair. I wouldn't up it a lot. You're getting great value there with an awesome payout. So Eric Jones, just be happy that you can grab 50-1 because I truly believe you won't be able to grab it after practice and qualifying. I think this guy's going to be fast. I guarantee you, someone like Eric Jones, he's got this track circled. He's got this track circled, X'd on his calendar. He's counting down the days, dude, to get here. And I guess they're flying in today, tomorrow morning, whatever. But Eric Jones is good at Bristol, 50-1. Love it. Favorite bet from Dutter Mike's. Favorite bet is Christian Eckes for a top 5. That's going to be my biggest play of the weekend, unless something sticks out after practice and qualifying. So, favorite bet is Christian Eckes for a top 5. Red Sniper, yes, iRacing stream is coming up in about an hour. Don't worry. I got to get this uploaded to YouTube, and then we're going to be back on Kick for iRacing at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Jones top 3 or top 5 bet worthwhile. If you can get 10-1, let's look at DraftKings. Let's look at DraftKings real quick. Whoa, what, top 5 odds are gone? Did they just take them down? DraftKings just took top 5 odds down. What the fuck? Okay. If you can get like a 12-1 top 3, maybe. 12-1, 13-1, 14-1 top 3 range, maybe. But for me, like, I'm more of an all or nothing with a bet like this. Maybe you can get a top 5 at 6-1. I doubt it. If you can find top 5 at 6-1, which I'm going to check BetMGM because you asked that, Pancake Frisbee. If you can get a top 5 at 6-1, that could be worth something to me. Let's see. BetMGM, Eric Jones is 45-1. And so he's had a little bit of movement since we bet it. And he's 12-1 for a top 3. For a top 5, Eric Jones is 6.5-1. I do like that bet. If you're thinking about top 10 as well, don't go anything less than 2-1 for a top 10 on Eric Jones. I wouldn't go anything less than 2-1 for an Eric Jones top 10. But plus 650 for a top 5 of BetMGM has got to be the best price. That's got to be the best price. 6.5-1 for a top 5, Eric Jones on BetMGM. There you go. I like that line. I like that line a lot. I'm glad you said that. Thanks for the question, Pancake. Hopefully that could help you out. So 6.5-1 for top 5. Fuck me. I might go bet that. That's tough. I didn't realize it was 6.5-1. That's a good line. And what you guys are saying right now, Frankie got 5-1 on DraftKings. Plus 575 on Hard Rock. Plus 650 on BetMGM, dude. So there you go. All right, guys, I'm going to call it there. We've gone about an hour here. Once again, thank you guys for watching Dalescenter on Kick or on YouTube. I've given all the plugs so many times, I don't even know where to go. You see it all here. You see it all in the link below. Just check everything out. Do whatever the fuck you want. But just be sure you don't miss the betting cards. That's a big thing, and that starts with Action Network and the Dalescenter NASCAR Discord. Those two avenues are the best way to not miss all my bets as we get ready for racing. Oh, I didn't even talk about behind me, by the way. The Dale Jr. Sweep weekend, yeah? 81. Oh, yeah. Love that 81. I know it's blue. We're wearing red, but he did win in this red car the next night, fall of 2004. What a time. What a weekend. Great time to be alive. This weekend will also be a great time to be alive. Not just with NASCAR Bristol, but you got March Madness. So you can go. It's a great balance, right? Because you can go bet on March Madness and lose all your money, and then you can come back here and listen to us, and then you win it back. Beautiful. And it's all good fun. So appreciate you guys for watching Dalescenter. If you're into the iRacing, I'll be back on here on Kick in about an hour. to go all night long. We've got a lot planned for the iRacing stuff. And for the betting stuff, just follow at Dale Tanhart, Dalescenter NASCAR Discord, Action Network, whatever you got to do to get the full betting card. I try to babysit as much as I can. I put it on Twitter. I put it on Instagram, my story. So be sure to just be following, and you will see all the bets ahead of the weekend. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy the NASCAR action at Bristol, back on the concrete this weekend, and let's hope to make some profit again for like the third week in a row.